These days, having versatile clothing you can wear anywhere is a must. That's why American Giant makes all sorts of versatile any-weather staples, hoodies, jackets, and more. Whether you're buying a gift or stocking your closet, you'll find just what you need. And it's all made right here in the USA. Find your new wardrobe staples at American-Giant.com and get 20% off your order when you use code ANYSTYLE24 at checkout. That's 20% off at American-Giant.com. Promo code ANYSTYLE24.
Everybody loves a sequel, especially when it comes to the world's most comfortable shoe. Introducing the Allbirds Wool Runner 2, a next-level revamp of the cult classic. 7 years in the making, it's been completely reimagined for a game-changing fit and feel. With enhanced cushioning and super soft materials, the Wool Runner 2 delivers comfy all-day wear built for bliss. Visit allbirds.com and use code FRESH24 to score a free pair of socks with purchase. That's ALLBIRDS.com, code FRESH24.
The following production is part of the We Be Geeks podcast collective.
From days long ago, from uncharted regions of the universe, comes a legend.
The dream that came through a million years, that lived on through all the tears.
It came here, the Fandom Nexus.
Fabulous secret powers were revealed to our host as he plugged in his microphone.
I have a podcast!
Here he is, your Spider-Pan, Jeremy.
Hello. And I know, it's been a little too long, I guess, since we've had an episode. This is going to be going on a third week, but it's been kind of crazy around here. But we are here, we are back, and it's time to come back to the Fandom Nexus. Oh, and hey, guess what? Lost Boy Phillips here with us.
Hey, how you doing?
And I've got some fun stuff planned. I don't have any news, per se, because really, do we need to talk about news every week? Not really, but there is so much stuff that has popped up this week, and we've got some anniversaries, some classic films we're going to talk about. I'm going to review Luca, although it's been a while, but maybe not everybody sat and watched it. I even have, I got to remember to pull this up. I have a review of, where's my phone anyway? I have a review of Cruella that was sent to me, and I've got to play it off of my phone later, but I was sent a review of Cruella because I still haven't watched it, and I don't know if I will or not. When it gets off Premiere Access, I might think about it. But yeah, so we're going to talk some Cruella a little bit, some Luca, the Great Muppet Caper.
Oh, yeah.
40 years. And so, of course, we're going to feature that. A few other things we'll probably talk about in the future, but we're going to at least mention them. We also have new trailers for Shang-Chi and Masters of the Universe Revelation, one of them that just dropped an hour ago. So much stuff to talk about in this episode. So, come on, let's just get right on into it. How about that? All right, so, of course, we like to start out with our host chatter. And of course, I like to start out with, what have you been watching? And for me, and this was, this came even highly recommended from you. I think we were just talking about this maybe a couple weeks ago or something. It's like, because you got like the entire video or DVD set of all the Pink Panther movies.
Yeah, I have most of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were telling me, I mentioned I had never seen except for the Steve Martin remake, which was And you said, you got to watch these. And I noticed when I'm finally back in my master bedroom downstairs.
There you go.
Finally. And
master of your universe.
So I have access to HBO Max again. So I got on HBO Max and I found, look, here's the original from the Ninth Doctor Who season. So I started watching some Doctor Who again, watching Superman in the animated series, which don't let me forget. I got to talk to you about this episode of Superman I was watching this week.
Good stuff.
Yeah. But the Pink Panther series was all on there. So I watched the first one and I must say I colored myself a little disappointed. I did not like that ending.
Well, that was in the 1960s.
Yeah. But I was like, because Inspector Clouseau, he's so likable.
Yeah.
And he's such a nice guy. And he's such a sweetheart to this lying, cheating, backstabbing woman he's married to. Which wonderfully played by, I love the actress because she's in North to Alaska with John Wayne. Awesome. I recognized her. I was like, hey, it's Jenny, isn't she?
Yeah, something like that. Very attractive, I'll tell you.
Which, a funny thing, actually this morning over at our classic country station, when I was working, getting everything set up, they were actually playing the song North to Alaska, which I didn't realize the lyrics actually tells the plot of the movie.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool, but I was like, yeah. But yeah, so I watched it, and I'm going to watch the next one, but I really would not expect Clouseau to get his revenge. I don't want to spoil the ending, though. Granted, the movie came out 1964. So
Yeah, wow.
but
Back.
if you knew what the ending was, you might be like, "What?" But I felt bad for the character, and the way it all ends up in the end, I really wanted him to get them and catch them because he was on the right track. But oh man. But it's still funny. But I felt bad for the guy.
Worry not. There is the sequel. What was it called? Shot in the Dark.
Shot in the Dark.
And then they had other sequels in the 70s. Throughout the 70s, he
Return
had
of the Pink Panther,
Return and then
Revenge of the Pink
Revenge.
Panther.
And all was really good. And for those who ever seen the original one, whenever he passed away, talking about the actor
Peter Sellers,
he was just brilliant.
He's so funny.
He was brilliant. And whenever he did pass away, and I can't remember if that was the Revenge or which one it was. I don't remember. There's so many.
It was the I think Revenge is the last one that they made.
Yeah, with him.
When I was looking, yeah.
And then when they did that, they ended up having all the actors from the original one and a few others come back because he didn't get to finish the film, and so they had the villains all come back and kind of retell a lot, but they did the best they could.
Yeah.
But it was pretty good. They had another actor come in. Was it Alan Arkin? Is that who it was? They come in and
I don't know.
And
I don't know.
But he did pretty good. I'll be on. No one can,
Yeah,
outdo
you
Peter Sellers.
can't replace Peter
But
Sellers.
he did his best to behave like Peter Sellers, and he's a good actor too.
Yeah.
But anyway,
He's the guy in MASH, wasn't he? Alan
no,
Arkin?
you're thinking Alan Alden.
Oh, right.
But,
Alan Arkin. Why do I know who that is?
He was on Edward Scissorhands. He came
Oh,
in.
Yeah. And he was in Rocketeer as well, wasn't he?
Rocketeer, yeah.
Yes.
And he's been on tons
Yeah.
of things. He's got a brilliant, dry
Rocketeer.
way.
I think that's an anniversary that's coming up too.
Yeah, it is. In fact, it just passed us.
Yeah, which I'd say the main thing I remember about Rocketeer when you and we were just talking about this. So I was picking you up. The main thing I remember is I didn't realize Jennifer Connelly was in that movie until she showed up in it. I was like, oh, look, she grew up because I tell you from Labyrinth, which, by the way, Labyrinth, 35 years ago. Well, I had the biggest crush on her when I was little.
Man, who didn't?
Oh, my goodness. And I find it very, very fun. The guy playing Vision, and now I forgot his name, he's actually married to her.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm like, dude, you lucked out, man.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
So,
but
yes, my goodness.
The fact is I loved her in The Rocketeer.
Yeah, she was so good in that. And all grown up, and my goodness.
And Bill,
she grew up well.
Was it Bill? I can't think. Campbell, was it?
Yes, Bill Campbell.
I think he was outstanding in that film.
He was so great, which is so weird because he plays such villainous characters too.
Yeah, he's good at that. And so, and Timothy Dalton, you got to hand it to us. He was so good and lovable as a villain. I mean, he's such a great villain in there. And he was at the time he was known as James Bond.
Yeah.
So that was
in a couple of James Bond films I really didn't enjoy.
No, but he did good for what he was given.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be a darker James Bond. And so really for what he was given, because people have to understand that when people say, well, he wasn't great. He was given the darker James Bond. They were trying to get away from the really kind of light.
The Roger Moore campiness.
Yeah, campy, light.
Yeah.
They're not bad films, but they're very light. So his were very dark in that sense.
Yeah.
And so when he played in this film, he was a villain all the way.
He was so good, but he's so charming.
And charming as heck.
He's perfect for the role because he's supposed to be, basically. Well, Neville Sinclair was basically like, the Robin Hood actor.
Oh yeah,
Errol Flynn. He was basically Errol Flynn.
Yeah, he was,
except for an evil Nazi spy.
Yes, and I love how Howard Hughes is in there.
Yes.
Oh, and it's played by Dean. What's his last name?
Oh, I can picture him.
He was at the time he was still on Quantum Leap. Dean
Stockwell?
Stockwell, yeah.
He wasn't Howard Hughes. That was dang it, I'm gonna look him up.
Oh wait. I'm thinking of another film that he played.
You're thinking of a different guy because Dean Stockwell was in Quantum Leap.
I'm thinking of him. I'm thinking of the movie Tucker where he played.
I haven't seen Tucker.
Yeah, he played Howard Hughes on that. I apologize. I'm misspeaking here.
Let me look up that because I know the actor who played Howard Hughes.
He's on tons of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I misspoke of another film.
There we go. Because he
was on Tombstone.
Malcolm Arkin was in this one as well. Yeah. Let's see here.
There he is. Where is he?
Terry O'Quinn. There he is.
Yeah, he's on tons of things.
Oh, so much.
Well, he was on Lost. He was on the movie.
I didn't watch that.
Yeah, he was on the show Lost, and he's been on Tombstone. He's on lots of good shows.
IMDb has changed their format here. This is kind of handy. They got nice, better ways to click pictures.
Paul Sorvino was great in that movie.
Oh yeah, well, Paul Sorvino. He's just great anyway.
He's great.
And then Joan Polito.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of great people.
Just tremendous.
Eddie Jones though was Malcolm. Eddie Jones, I believe, was in Krull.
Yeah, there's a lot of great.
A lot of stuff. He played the old man in there.
Well,
my goodness.
he played on a what was it called? Lois and Clark.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was he?
If I'm not mistaken, if we're talking about the right guy, he was the one who was going to be the clown in this movie.
Yeah, he was the clown.
Yeah, he was.
He
was. Jonathan Kent.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure. Oh no, I don't see it here though. I thought he was also. Well, there is a guy with a similar name, but he was. I guess he's a British actor who was in Krull, but I don't see it here. So I think it was a different guy with the same name.
He's been on
Eddie
a lot
Jones.
of stuff.
So yeah, there's a lot of acting credits, but yeah, because he was good at being that old fatherly.
He could
grandpa
also be scary.
guy.
He was on a film that I really, really like called I can't think of the name of it right now.
Yeah, but he was scary in that.
Oh yeah, Sneakers. And Sneakers, he played. That's a great movie, full of great people. Robert Redford and lots of great actors. Anyway, he was basically a hitman, and he was terrifying in that movie.
Wow. Yeah, it's weird when you see a character who's such a nice guy, you see and they suddenly become villainous. I was actually watching a video this week where a guy was doing a retrospective on RoboCop, and the guy who played Dick Jones, that guy was known for playing such nice guy characters. That was the first villain role he'd ever played, and he was so good at it that it was kind of terrifying. He was so mean.
Yeah, maybe that's what's so good about it is that you're not used to it, and so you don't expect it.
Right. Yeah. So the other thing I've listened is what I've been watching. Of course, been watching Loki. Now,
I haven't watched the newest one, but
okay. Well, I won't spoil the fourth episode. Okay, that third episode, I must say, seemed very weak to me when I was watching it, and I considered it to be a filler because it didn't seem to move the story forward. However, when we get to the fourth episode, the third episode gets kind of redeemed. It's like, oh, and it seems we are getting very close to Kang the Conqueror.
Oh, good. I've been waiting for him.
It seems to be coming. They seem to be building to it. I don't want to say how or why because you haven't seen the fourth episode. There is one thing that kind of concerned me, and I was worried it was going to, become a thing. I have an issue when someone's agenda interferes with the good storytelling because they're so concerned with the agenda. And I was afraid that's what happened to the third episode. It was just revolved so much not around the story, but for the agenda of the director, because we had this tweet that went around from Kate Herron. The tweets read, let me read this directly. She's the director of Loki, says, from the moment I joined at Loki Official, it was very important to me and my goal to acknowledge Loki was bisexual. It is a part of who he is and who I am too. I know this is a small step, but I'm happy and heart is so full to say that this is now canon in #MCU. So it seems her focus was on Loki being bisexual and not on telling a good story. And that can ruin a series. That's ruined a lot of CW shows I used to watch when somebody's personal agenda gets too involved. And I was worried that was going to happen when it seemed like the third episode revolved more around that little bit of conversation. I was like, really? So this was a filler episode for that? But it was redeemed actually in the fourth episode that, no, the third episode has actually been important and it actually helps move things along for the fourth episode. So I'm kind of glad because I was like, oh, don't tell me. Are we going to go down that road and ruin the series because we're so focused on that we're not going to tell a good story? And Bad Batch, I feel like is starting to wrap up. I haven't watched if there's a new episode out today, but Bad Batch just keep getting better.
That's a great show.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. I love it. Especially, I don't know what Fennec's up to.
Yeah,
I'm completely floored. Which Ming Na Wen actually shared. They've got a Lego figure of Fennec now. She was showing it's like I'm a Lego. And I'm like, yay! That's the thing. I would love to have a Lego made of me. That would be so great. I want an action figure of myself, really, but a Lego of me. Come on.
Well, you just be cool. You may have one. You may not even
Who knows?
realize it.
Somebody out there may love me so much. I know it's you. I know I'm talking directly to you now. You're the one that's going to make that Lego figure. I know you want to do it. Just make it. Make it happen.
Well, what if I told you that I started one years ago, action figure of you?
Of course you did.
And I never got to finish it, but I'm going to. I actually made a 2-pack of you and John Cena together.
Oh, no.
Just so you all know, Jeremy is not a John Cena fan.
No, I am not.
And so I made a 2-pack of wrestlers of him and John Cena.
He always teams me with John Cena when he makes me on a wrestling game, too.
The Cena Nights.
Well, speaking of what you've been playing, so you've actually been working on that, trying to get your characters a bit remade.
Yeah.
I've actually still been playing Animal Crossing. Oh, and this now that we're in July, I love the thing that's great about Animal Crossing is new things pop up for you to catch and see and do every month and every season. We got in July and there were cicadas and different kinds of cicadas all over the place. I was catching cicadas. I caught a puffer fish today. Lots of new things. Having a lot of fun playing Animal Crossing. And in Red Dead Redemption 2, I feel like I'm finally becoming the, well, honorable bad guy, because you can't help it. You're a villain. I mean, you're a crook. You know, you're part of a gang. You know, you do bad things, but you get honor points by contributing to the camp where your gang is hiding out. And we did this big bank robbery thing, and I came out with over $2,000, and I put that $2,000 right into the camp funds, and my honor is way up there now.
I think it's funny that you use the words like honor with robbing.
Well, no, because you have an honor. You have like an honor system, like you're either kind of leaning good or bad, and it'll affect the way other people will treat you in the game, and a lot of other results of stuff. But as it says in Wreck-It Ralph, just because you're a bad guy does not mean you are a bad guy. And that's exactly the way I'm playing it. I'm not a bad person. I'm just
a villain.
When I do a story mission, occasionally we're robbing a bank or robbing a train. You know, it's old West fantasy, right? You know,
maybe the bank owner's the bad guy.
maybe. Yeah, they're all part of that capitalist system we're supposed to be tearing down, right?
Yeah. Maybe you're the Robin Hood.
Yeah. Well, we ain't giving nothing to the poor, except for anyone who's in our camp, I guess. You know, we're pretty poor, I guess.
Poor guy.
But as we mentioned, 35 years of Labyrinth and 50 years of Willy Wonka. I bet we're going to have some upcoming episodes where we're going to have to sit and talk about these movies individually for these anniversaries this year. I've been planning this for a long time, but I was waiting until I got this second microphone. Philip's got a microphone I've bought for him now, all for himself over here. Woo-hoo. And we'll get all three of us because Eric finally got a chance to watch Tombstone, which, yes, was a Disney release. Yes, it's an R-rated movie, but this is the Fandom Nexus now. It's not the old classic Neverland. I will talk about an R-rated film if, it's connected to something or if it's just really, really good. And Tombstone is a tremendous film. And it was made through a Disney company, Hollywood Pictures. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about that one at another point. Now, as I mentioned, I don't have any news, but we are going to visit the trailer park. Oh, but before we hit the thing for the trailer park, isn't there another anniversary movie?
Yes, the anniversary of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves just happened not very long ago, just a couple weeks ago, and I just watched it actually. I haven't seen that in a while, but you and we went to the theater together.
Oh yeah, I remember going to the theater. Then I saw it again as a drive-in. Were you with me at the drive-in too?
Yes.
Yeah, because we used to, after Vacation Bible School, we'd always go to movies. Yeah, we went because that's when my mom and my dad and everybody got to see Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Loved it.
So, but speaking of movies in the theaters, it's time to go to the trailer park.
Mama, another gator got in the house.
Another gator? Give me that shovel. Come here.
Get him, Mom. Get that gator.
The Neverland Trailer Park.
Now, I know you're really jonesing to see that Master Universe Revelations trailer that just came out about an hour ago or so.
You bet.
But, doing everything in the order that it came out, we got a new trailer about a week ago for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Throughout my life, the Ten Rings gave our family power. If you want them to be yours one day, you have to show me you are strong enough to carry them.
You are a product of all who came before you. The legacy of your family. You are your mother. And whether you like it or not, you are also your father.
I told my men they wouldn't be able to kill you if they tried. Glad I was right.
You're just a criminal who murders people.
Be careful how you speak to me, boy.
I thought I could change my name. Start a new life. But I could never escape his shadow.
My son, you can't run from your past. Is this what you wanted?
You got this.
Thank you.
That was Fin Fang Foom, I believe.
That
there at
was
the
so.
end. Woo!
I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, this is going to be so awesome. So this, of course, Shang-Chi is son of the Mandarin. Mandarin, of course, has his 10 rings.
What's his name? At the end there, was that Annihilus?
Looking away.
Or whatever his name was?
Abomination. It kind of looks like Abomination. Didn't it?
The way they had it for the Hulk movie.
Yeah, well, they need to bring some of those characters back. I still want the leader. I still want the leader in the movie.
I want to see a Hulk movie again. Now that they've had those movies, I want to see the Hulk movie again.
The problem is a solo Hulk movie is still owned by Universal. So Disney doesn't want to do it. Because they wouldn't be the ones releasing and getting all of them. They want all the money and not just a share. So that's a bit of a problem. But, they could still bring the leader in and have not be a solo Hulk movie. It could be an Avengers movie of some sort, and the leader can be a part of it. Maybe he can join in with King the Conqueror. That would be pretty cool. But so this movie still looks fantastic. The 10 rings, though, it's interesting. They're not finger rings. They're like bracelet rings up the arms.
That's neat to see because I was curious. I kept thinking it was going to be finger rings.
Yeah, kind of like the Mandarin we expect. But at least we're getting a real Mandarin and not the Iron Man 3 knockoff, not quite the Mandarin.
Which I didn't know. I don't mean this to sound cruel because I love the actor they had.
Ben Kingsley is great.
But I was disappointed in that film. Not in the film, but in that part of it because that's not the one I always loved. But then whenever they brought out what was it, Thor 2? Was that the one that they had that little short in there?
I still haven't seen that short where
I've seen
the guy
bits
goes
of it,
to prison.
But I haven't seen all of that.
I've probably got it. And I don't own Thor 2 because
I do.
Thor: The Dark World was kind of
But if you want to come over, we can watch it. And
I need to come over and watch Johnny Tremaine.
Oh, yeah.
4th of July weekend, brother.
Let's do it.
I don't know when I'm going to have time.
Well, we'll do it.
I need to watch that because you keep telling me it's a great film.
I'm telling you.
I could order it from the Disney Movie Club. I was thinking about it.
It's good.
Because, you've been telling me about that movie for years, man. But yeah, Shang-Chi looks great. It's coming September 3rd. Only in theaters, brother.
Oh, we got to go see
it.
So it's an actual movie, not a series.
Right.
Oh,
Shang-Chi, a series, a movie.
Let's go.
Hopefully, a series of movies. We totally gotta go. I mean, this looks awesome, and it looks like it's gonna be like a very kung fu movie, and a lot of unknown actors, which is great because I get to learn new actors and enjoy new people.
And quite honestly, sometimes the only problem with having don't get me wrong, I love the legendary actors, but the only problem with when you only have legendary actors, I don't mind one or two in there. But when you only have legendary actors, it doesn't open the doorway for newer actors either. So
that's true. All right, but we do have another trailer, and we'll check it out here right now. Okay, so are you ready for this?
I was born ready.
All right, here we go. Masters of the Universe Revelations, a full trailer, not just a teaser, a full trailer.
Magic gave birth to Eternia, the first planet in all of creation. But now the magic is gone. And without magic, Eternia will rot and die. And as goes Eternia, so goes the entire universe.
I built a life of truth. Away from magic. And now you want me to save magic? Yes, to save Eternia.
If I don't do this, everybody dies.
No!
Whatever became of Eternia, we'll face it together. No one else dies.
But the Sword of Power was destroyed.
Not destroyed. Divided.
Whether you serve Grayskull or Snake Mountain, we all gotta work together now. Or else Eternia dies.
What were we ever fighting for? Being a hero swallows you whole.
Well, that's a risk I'm willing to take.
Behold, the Lord of of destruction.
Still know the tune?
Some things you can never forget.
I have the power!
So what we seem to have learned here is... Because, all right, so there's apparently a cataclysmic battle, and through the concept of this, Teela finds out, finally, that Adam has been He-Man the whole time, and she's upset about that. But also, it looks to me that something that goes so bad that He-Man decides, we can't let this fight thing keep going on. We keep fighting over the sword, and He-Man tears the sword in two.
I'm looking forward to this. You know, there's been a lot of pardon me, everybody's to their own opinion, but there's been a lot of people who made so many assumptions over a teaser.
Yeah.
Which is never the wise thing to do.
And there was supposedly something, a synopsis from Netflix saying this is about Teela bringing, and it is. It appears to be Teela about bringing them back together.
The opener. They're talking about the opening episode. And people kept jumping in with their own opinion, thinking that this show is all about Teela, not about He-Man. And I've seen that so many times now. This show is going to be all about Teela. And
she is the main, in part one. It's very much a Teela episode.
The first episode. About her.
Apparently, first part, because the part one will be a few episodes.
Yeah.
And then we'll have another part.
Having to get He-Man back into it. But it's not going to be all about Teela. It's going to be about getting He-Man. He's still the main source. And also, from what I was reading, what's going to be great is the first episode is going to be based, in the very beginning of it at least, it's going to look similar to the old show. And that in style and everything, and then something's going to happen. Something big is going to happen that's going to change it all. And I'm
cataclysmic battle, apparently, where it's all, and that's the point where He-Man's going to make the decision that the sword must be,
which is very much like the old toy and the old story.
Yes, we're getting back to the split sword,
and I like it because it, of course, you know, we who are ridiculous fans. I say ridiculous fans because folks, I'm actually wearing a tank top right now that looks like He-Man. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I'm wearing the chest of He-Man in the back and everything. I have the He-Man breastplate and everything on me.
The harness.
The harness. So I'm a goofball. But the thing is, I love He-Man. I always have. I have so many of the old toys and things.
I'm getting all the new toys.
Yeah, and I have some of those too. Anyway, I have some of those too. I mean, I'm goof, but I like it.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. It's premiering later this month.
Yeah, we're excited.
I should have looked. I think it's like the 23rd
or something like 16th.
I think it's the 23rd. It's like on a Friday. It's coming up very, very soon.
I just know I'm excited because I have so much of the old stuff and love it.
Yes. I'm very excited to see where this is going. You know what I like? Because I was even watching, you were the first one that told me about this, and I was actually just watching some videos from Spectre Creative on YouTube where he's talking about, because you had told me about that it turns out Fisto was Teela's father and had been married to the sorceress before, at some point. I was wondering, like, well, how come he doesn't know? Apparently, Fisto, the injuries that injured him so badly where he lost his arm, he lost all his memories. He doesn't even realize that Teela's his daughter.
Yeah.
I would love to see that come back into play and have Fisto remember or whatever and find out that Teela is his daughter and that
apparently a brother with brother with Man at Arms, which
is why Man at Arms took her in. He's actually uncle, but he raised Teela as his own.
And their facial hair and all looks similar. Yes. They look similar to one another.
But I want to see that story brought around.
Yeah, me too. It'd be great.
And I love the idea with Teela rejecting, we're trying to get rid of all magic, that she's got to face her destiny, that she's the daughter of the sorceress. Yeah. And it is her. She's next in line.
Yeah.
She's got to become the sorceress, so she has to embrace the magic and become the most in magic on Eternia.
Well, the story is very interesting because magic gets involved, and as does mechanics and all that in this world. It's very unique. If you ever, I suggest watch Spectre Creative because this guy,
he used to work for Mattel and some other toy companies,
and he put a lot of the stories and stuff together, so he knows a lot.
With the Mike Young series and that second toy line, he was one of the main creatives on putting the stories.
And he's pretty great.
Yeah. So you can learn a lot of different stuff. But I was glad he finally had a couple of videos. He went in depth on Man at Arms, and had another video where he kind of explained a little bit of, because I was wondering, well, how come Fisto doesn't know this, and how come they never did it? It's like, well, Fisto lost all memories that he even had a daughter and was married to the sorceress.
And
So I'm hoping this comes around because it's Revelation. Is Tila learning about who was that? Adam was He-Man? I want Tila to find out that Fisto's her father, and I want to see it all.
What I love about him too is he'll tell you all the knowledge of Hordak the character and then Hordak the toy. He'll go through and explain the difference between the two. That Hordak the toy, of course, we always wondered when I was a kid and I got Hordak the toy, and I actually bought that with my allowance. So I used to get $5, and that's how much they cost. So I used to get Hordak the toy. It didn't say She-Ra. It said He-Man and the Masters of the Universe on there. Well, it said Masters of the Universe. So you got that Masters of the Universe that was Hordak.
Yeah.
But yet on the cartoon, it was from She-Ra.
Right. Well, She-Ra needed a good villain. And
and they didn't really have one. So
I've read the mini comics now that I have that book. It was not good.
No.
They needed to retool She-Ra entirely, or that would never have taken off.
Originally, they was going to have where Hordak was going to be the new big baddie for He-Man.
Yeah, because he was like the original big, other than the Snake Man, he was like one of the original big baddies. He's the one that made Skeletor into Skeletor.
And there's even a bigger big baddie than even Hordak that he has Horde Prime, and he has to answer to him.
Yeah,
they did finally make a toy of that.
They
did not of the old, but of the newer toys when they were making the big. It was one of the big deals where he's kind of a combination of Hordak with a few other things. Anyway,
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice. And I would love to see them get back to having Hordak. And there's been people there've been some fan images where people have been like, "Oh, hey, could She-Ra maybe show up in this new series?"
Yeah, they now have. I'm assuming eventually, because
it would be really cool
now that they have all the rights to them again.
Yes,
for a while, they didn't have the rights to Fisto. That's why in the secondary series back in the early millennium, they had to call him Iron something or other. I don't remember what it was, because Fisto was owned by Hasbro because of Kit Fisto.
Oh, wow. Who'd have thought?
Isn't that funny?
Golly. But this is debuting very, very soon, and I'm very, very, very excited. But we do have a movie review. All right, so as it stands, I do not have my old bumpers that I used to use for movie reviews, so we're just going to get right into it. And the first review I have is of Cruella from The Real Brian, from The Real Brian Show, which you can find online. Just, realbrianshow.com. You can check out his show. It's a good show. You'll like it. But anyways, here is his review of Cruella.
I finished Cruella. I thought, well, first of all, it was better than I expected. I mean, absolutely hands down. I was not expecting that at all. It was a prequel, so that was interesting. I actually think that it started off really, really well. In fact, the first maybe third to half, the first third of the movie was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. Then it kind of went off on like kind of weird Disney antics. They do this a lot with animated movies where it's just a lot of random, unrealistic action and not a lot really developing the story, and just kind of like, okay. I mean, it wasn't bad, but there was a lot of that for a little while. But then, it was a good story. It was kind of interesting. And then I thought it ended really, really well too. So it's worth watching by far. And it's nice because, you don't have anything really to compare it to, because you can't compare it to 101 Dalmatians because it's a prequel. So I think it was kind of cool. I think they did a really good job. The acting was phenomenal. I was actually blown away how really, really good the acting was. I mean, Emma Thompson is always amazing. Everybody else, the supporting cast, did a really good job. But what is her name? Oh my gosh, I'm totally spacing her name. Emma? No, what? Oh my gosh, I can never remember her name. Anyway, the main girl that plays Cruella, she was in La La Land and all that. I'm totally spacing her name. But anyway, she was fabulous. I mean, absolutely smashing, incredible performance. Did a spectacular job. So she really got to use her acting chops. Just so good. So that was phenomenal. She deserves an award for that. I was really impressed. But anyway, that's my thoughts.
And now we will have a review for Luca, which came onto Disney Plus. I think it's in theaters as well. This is Pixar's latest film. I need to have the director's full name. His last name is Casarosa. And Luca is it's set in Italy. It's a coming-of-age story. This is the director of La Luna, which was an Academy Award nominated short film, and it's a Pixar one as well. It's really, really. Have you seen La Luna?
I think I have. Yeah.
Oh, it's super charming. It's where they're on the moon and they're kind of cleaning the stars up.
Yeah, I saw that.
It is a very wonderful little thing. And what's fun is in the credits, you'll see them actually acknowledge they were still working on this during COVID. And so, they were talking about working in their flip-flops or something, or their slippers and stuff like that. There's a nice little thing. But Casarosa said this is a deeply personal story, and it's inspired actually by his own childhood in Genoa, Italy. And the title character is actually based on himself and Alberto on his best friend, Alberto Sarras, who actually voices a fisherman in the Italian dubbed version of the film. But he says his summers were spent on beaches, and he met his best friend when he was 11. He was a really shy kid and found this troublemaker kid who had a completely different life, and he wanted to make a movie about these kinds of friendships to help you grow up. And really, you've only watched so far into the movie, but it is a tale of friendship from the whole thing. And you have even one character who's got some serious abandonment issues that will come into play. You haven't gotten to that point. But it is a big celebration of friendship. Now, there are people that during this month have wanted to celebrate it, and they're taking a different meaning out of stuff, but that was not the intention of the filmmakers. But as long as they're enjoying the film, whatever, you enjoy the film. I'm not even going to get into that because it's not what the intention of the filmmakers was. But there is some homage to Federico Fellini and some classic Italian filmmakers. And instead, there's a dash of Miyazaki in there, or Miyazaki. I never know how to say that guy's name right, but Miyazaki, from like the Seven Samurai and all kinds of stuff that even inspired George Lucas. So there's a lot. And he even mentioned Stand By Me from 1986, which is, I believe, a Stephen King film. Yeah, which I remember watching once, and I don't want to watch the puking scene anymore.
It's a good movie, though. I'll watch it a lot.
It's that friendship thing, this story of friendship.
Friendship is very important.
Apparently, people forget that boys and men, we can be friends, and that doesn't mean there's anything more. It means we're friends. So I can be friends even with women, and that doesn't mean there's anything else in there.
That's what and I'm using Greek here. It's phileo love.
Yeah, it's a brotherhood love.
Yeah, it is. That's phileo.
Yeah,
however you say
where we get the word Philadelphia.
Yeah,
the city of brotherly love.
And it's I say this a lot because I'm sure many of you know already, but I'm a pastor. So every year I use the different types of love. Agape is godly love, and phileo love is the type of love for friendship and family, and then eros, and that is the romantic.
Yeah.
But all that being said, it's important to have friendly love, and I've been best friends with my friend Seth, who I talk with. He's been since we were 5 years old, and we were still together. And when we were about 11 is when we really grew close, and then. Me and Jeremy have been friends since we were about 9 and 8 and 9.
7.
I was about 8 or 9 years old.
Your father became my pastor.
And then we grew really, really close when he was 11 and I was 12 is when we grew the closest. And so that's my point is that, people grow close when they're in those ages. It's important.
And it's nice to be able to keep those people around.
Yeah.
I must say.
You need them.
So other things, though, there's... They got some artists to go to the Italian Riviera, by the way, for research for this film. The style of the movie. I really like the look of everything. You were saying you weren't really that fond of the character designs. The character designs are very, very rounded eyes. Yeah. It's very stylistic. The film is rooted in the 50s and 60s, which is like a golden age. That feels timeless, they're saying. And they even talk about, sea monsters being featured in the film were pulled from Italian myths and regional folklore, which is interesting because when I was first seeing this, I thought they were supposed to be like mermen, but no, there's like sea monsters.
Yeah.
And a lot of the storyline revolves around, Alberto and Luca being sea monsters. And it is very similar at the beginning to The Little Mermaid, where you have Luca's family is very much, you don't want to go up to the surface there. They'll destroy you. And so there is also a part of story of, we're hiding the fact that we're sea monsters, but we also want to be able to be here amongst the humans because, we're not that different. So there's a lot of interesting things, but the overall theme is that friendship and how that friendship grows and, what happens over the course of the summer. And it's it's Pixar. It goes straight for the feels.
Yeah.
For anyone, if you've had those childhood friends, especially if you still have them, it goes right in there for the kill, right in there. So I really enjoy this film, and it even has a platonic relationship with a girl that's in there that she's a major character, and they all get together for this kind of not a decathlon, it's more of a triathlon of events for the kids, and you've got a swimming, a bike race, and eating pasta. And unfortunately, you have to eat the pasta before you go on the bike ride. And this
You'll
one girl,
get sick.
she's attempted to do this race and multiple times by herself, but she'd eat the pasta, then get on the bike and get sick. So she can now, they put together a team, and I won't tell you what happens because Philip hasn't watched all of it yet, but they put together a team to go and win this bike race to kind of basically fulfill some dreams that they have, and I don't want to get into that because I don't want to spoil anything. But Casarosa also stated the sea monster is a metaphor for feeling different because we all kind of feel different in our own way. We're all kind of unique things, and some of us probably feel a little bit more different than others.
Maybe.
But we all can relate to that feeling just a little different, maybe a little misunderstood. But I found this film, Enrico Casarosa, there we go, there's his first name. This is his directorial debut. I really enjoyed this. The cast was great. This is voice of Jacob Tremblay, Jack Dylan Grazer, Emma Berman, Saverio Romano, Maya Rudolph, which I'm familiar with him. But what got me, Jim Gaffigan. Did you recognize his voice as Luca's father? Yeah. That was awesome. Jim Gaffigan in there, which is funny. Old pale-faced Irish guy, I think that he is.
Yeah.
And he gets to be playing an Italian sea monster character. But really, fantastic movie. I definitely recommend it. See it in the theater. Watch it on Disney+. They actually apparently did do a limited run at the El Capitan Theater. I don't know if that's still going on right now. But it's really, I really, really enjoy it. Really, really great film. But, the sound, if I still have it, which I don't think I have the sound clip anymore. It was taken from The Great Muppet Caper, the sound clip for a movie review that I was using. And The Great Muppet Caper, 40 years ago. I'm old.
I feel very old because
I feel old.
I remember seeing that at the theater.
I didn't see it in the theater, but I saw it on cable over and like every time it was on HBO. Man, I was watching this.
It's one of my earliest memories. I remember seeing the original one at the theater, barely. But
I didn't see that one at the theater either.
But I remember seeing Great Muppet Caper at the theater, and I was very excited. I remember them all being in the balloons.
Yes.
And I remember going to McDonald's with my grandmother, and my grandmother was so wonderful. She would take me to wherever they had the cups, and she would take me to them. Yeah.
I have a complete set of them.
Awesome.
Things. Oh, yes.
And I have a couple because of you.
Yep.
And but I remember her getting me the cups, and it was the one where they had the balloons. And I remember that. And I remember eating the French fries, and she was talking about, that was a good movie, wasn't it? I said, sure was. And she says, I really like that frog. She said,
yeah.
Then my grandma would always make things special that
way. And hopefully I should have made sure you were ready to queued up for this. But of course, the plot around The Great Muppet Caper is a jewel heist where the Muppets attempt to catch the criminals red-handed.
I'm sorry.
See, I know. I got you ready. I should have prepared you so you know what to say.
I hadn't seen it in a while.
What color are their hands now?
Oh, I
yes. The running joke.
I forgot all about the the gag.
Yes, and it's usually always Beauregard gets to say it. What color are their hands now? But it's like the running gag, sort of like in the first one where they have. That's a myth. Yes. I love that they keep doing that because they keep having the jokes about, frogs will give you warts. That's a myth. Yes. So it's great to have this running gag going on throughout the film. And I should have prepared you that I was going to, remember that because that's.
I hadn't gotten to see it in a while. It's been about 10 years. I watched it over the weekend.
I used to have the soundtrack. We had a record.
Yeah, we did too.
Loved the sound. I need to buy myself a fresh copy of it. I mean, I've got some of the songs because I've got like a Muppet Show collection. CD that has some of the songs off of all the movies up to that point, up through Muppets from Space. Great movie. I have got great memories of watching it. And even watching it now, it is still funny as heck.
Yeah. I always enjoyed watching, especially the beginning, the first scene where they're all singing and everything.
Yes. Hey, a movie.
Yeah.
Is there any way to stop it?
Yeah. That was like my favorite part. Hey, a movie. I love that part. And I love when they're in the hotel.
Charles Grodin, who just passed away.
Charles Grodin, yes. Charles Grodin was great in that. He was
so great.
Such a good villain. And
it's so goofy because
it's him. I mean,
the whole time because and me, instead of and then you got Lady Holiday is talking about her brother Nicky, that parasite and all that. And he goes through this whole thing, basically calling him the bad guy, and Miss Piggy, saying like, was that all that necessary? Well, it's exposition. It has to go in here somewhere, But like even in Nicky Holiday's his office is labeled as parasite.
Yeah. But it's for kids. It's so,
it's for families.
And Animal. I love Animal.
He's upset about not seeing them, about missing the. Well, it's Monet on the soundtrack, but in the movie, it's like it's a Rembrandt, and he goes Renoir.
Yeah, he's great. I love in the first movie when he gets big and he outgrows the things of blue. boom, he's just busting out through.
Yes.
And in the very first of this film, I love when you see. I think it's is it? Not Grover. I'm thinking the wrong one. Gonzo.
Oh,
hanging from the balloon. Or was that what the one?
Well, no, that was the first one. He was hanging from balloons in the first film. But he does talk about. I love in the beginning. He's like, where Gonzo's looking down from the air balloon while they're doing the credits, and he's like, "Golly, this be fun without the balloon?" What do you think you'd call that? And Kermit's like, "That's what you call plummeting." Wow, I'd really like to try that. Well, I think you could try it once,
Yeah.
But this is where they really establish Gonzo as being like loving pain.
Yeah.
Because he gets his nose stuck in the elevator and he's like, "Hey, Fozzie, you gotta come try this. It's really fun,
Yeah.
And then it's great when he throws himself in front of the taxi cab. It's like, "Hey, that was great, Gonzo." Yeah, it's even better when it works. Like he's trying to get hit by a cab. So this is the movie that made me love Gonzo.
Well, he is Gonzo nuts a little bit.
Because in the Muppet Show, he's fun and he's adorable. You love him, but he's the artiste and he does weird things because he's trying to be avant-garde. Now he's just crazy.
He's nuts.
And he's more fun. And I of course, I love Gonzo in the first one, but I actually saw Great Muppet Caper first before I saw the Muppet
did
movie.
you?
Yes. Because it was on HBO, and I watched the heck out of Great Muppet
I also
Caper.
love, and I can't remember his name, but the taxi driver.
Beauregard.
Yes. I really like him.
He's our guy. What good are their heads now?
Him. I love him.
Yes, love Beauregard.
He's so much fun. I love the way it's funny with me as a kid, when I see the Muppets, I love the texture looks and stuff.
Yeah,
and
that
felt looking thing. And I was the same way about Rover and all these different characters and
Rolf?
Rolf, and I don't know, my brain's going weird, but I love Rolf. Rolf had this look about him, and you can see the different textures and the different feels.
Yeah.
I love Rolf. But Rolf was hilarious.
Yes,
he was. He's the oldest of all the characters.
Yes,
he was around in the 1950s. Yeah, and he did that, and then he was on the old show, and then Kermit.
Well, unless you consider, I guess there was a lizard back when he was doing just a local show. He had a lizard.
He did.
That eventually
and
became
Kermit, he came around and he was on the old Sam show.
Yeah, Sam and Friends.
Sam and Friends. And
which came from like Jim Henson when he was doing something on local television and stuff.
Yeah.
There was a really great
just
documentary
a sock.
on YouTube.
He was a sock originally. A little sock. That was it.
So just Jim Henson. And this was actually the first time Jim Henson actually had directed a film, was The Great Muppet Caper.
Is that right?
Yes. Says so right there. I went and I did my research on this.
Well,
and I have lots of stuff. But what's funny was talking about the look of the Muppets. I love the joke of like Kermit and Fozzie being twins that they do in this.
Yes.
But I love they're on the plane.
I forgot about that.
And when like they're like, they're talking, it was like Fozzie's cold or something, and it's like, which one of us is the one with the fur? And Fozzie, that's you with the fur. Oh, I keep forgetting. Like Kermit has fur, which is funny because him being a felt puppet, he does look furry.
Yeah, he does.
He doesn't look amphibious. Okay.
No, not really. Yeah.
But it's just funny, that little gag. I was like, that's almost like a wink and a nod. It's like, yeah, we know Kermit's actually got a little fuzz on him because he's a little felt puppet.
They kind of make fun of themselves a lot. I love that.
Yes.
I love their humor.
Self-aware. And even having not Peter Sellers, Peter Falk in there as a Columbo style character who gets the thing entirely wrong.
No, he's
with
great.
his little bit and is kind of making fun of himself.
Just one more thing.
You and your brother Bernie, you was getting into this laundry business. You sold all you had.
I love Peter Falk. He's one of my favorites. Peter Falk.
Yes.
I've been watching some Columbo. He's just one of my all-time favorite guys.
He's just great.
He's great in almost anything he does.
He does. Especially the Princess Bride.
Oh,
come on!
That was outstanding. Now, Murder, She Wrote. You ever seen that?
He popped up on Murder, She Wrote?
Did I say Murder, She Wrote? I meant to say...
you didn't say Columbo. Okay.
No. I meant to say... there's a movie... Murder by Death.
I've seen bits of it with Peter Sellers.
But he's in there too.
They
Peter
probably
Falk.
couldn't show that on TV because Peter Sellers is playing an Asian.
Yeah, but Peter Falk is great in there too. I got
because it's supposed to be like a collection of different detectives all
from
together.
the 1930s.
Which is perfect. Peter Falk is.
He's like, hey.
I need to see that whole movie, but I doubt I could ever find it because that's now would be completely. You couldn't make that movie now.
No. But I have it somewhere. But what I love is I'll look for it. What I love is at one point, this guy says something about being number one. He goes, "You look like number two."
Oh, of course. But anyways, it was released by Universal Pictures and the Associated Film Distribution on the 26th of June in the United States and on the 30th of June in the United Kingdom. And it's the only Muppets feature film directed by Henson. It was shot in the UK and in London in 1980 and released shortly after the final season of The Muppet Show. So we had Diana Rigg as Lady Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Grodin, as we mentioned, as Nicky Holiday.
Yeah.
And he falls in love with Miss Piggy and have this really ridiculous fantasy.
I loved it though. That was good.
And I love the joke they make. You can't even sing. Your voice was dubbed. I love that. Then, of course, you got Erica Creer as Marla, Kate Howard as Carla, and Della Finch as Darla, the three models who are also thieves in there with Nikki Holiday. And my goodness, cameos. John Cleese as Neville, Joan Sanderson, which I'm not familiar with, but that's Neville's wife.
Oh yeah.
Jack Warden as which I recognize him, but he's the Daily Chronicle thing. We mentioned Peter Falk as a tramp. Robert Morley as a gentleman by the pond, which he looks familiar, but I didn't recognize him. But Peter Ustinov, I used to not recognize him, but I've been rewatching the Muppet Show on Disney Plus, and there's a whole episode with Peter Ustinov. I was like, there's Peter Ustinov, he's the truck driver.
Stuff,
and I love that he gets thrown out the truck and next to Oscar the Grouch, and Oscar the Grouch is like, yeah, well, I'm just here for a cameo, and Peter Ustinov's like, yeah, so am I. It's just funny. Jim Henson is the guest at the club.
Cool.
Frank Oz is a Chronicle reporter.
Awesome.
He's somewhere hidden in the back.
I love Frank Oz.
But you got
Great director,
a lot of different people that Richard Hunt as a cab driver. Now, Richard Hunt, I think, was a Muppeteer, if I'm not, because like Jerry Nelson is a Muppeteer and even a writer for the Muppet Show, and he's the man in the park with his daughter. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times gave the film a 2-star rating out of 4, saying Henson and his associates haven't developed a screenplay that pays attention to the Muppet personalities, and said they shipped them to England and dumped them in a base-era caper plot, treating them every bit as much like a formula as James Bond. Ebert, you're wrong, dude.
Ebert usually was.
Yeah. That movie is fantastic.
I don't mean that in disrespect to his memory, but the fact is I was never usually agreed with him.
Yeah. I did like the one time when the movie Baby's Day Out came out, and I was watching Siskel and Ebert, and Siskel liked it, and Roger Ebert was talking about all the peril that the baby gets into that's comical, and Ebert is just like, this should be like a warning of kids to get in there, and Gene Siskel says, yes, this is a warning. Don't let your kid go through this, or they may become Roger Ebert. And I thought, that's exactly it. Here's Gene Siskel's review, actually. Gave it 3 out of 4 stars, particularly singling out Miss Piggy for her fabulous personality, genuine star quality. However, he felt the film suffers from a case of the we know we're cute so we can get away with anything disease. But that's what the Muppets are. They're that meta level of comedy. They know they're the goofy Muppets, and they do the goofy, stupid vaudeville style humor. That's part of their charm.
Absolutely ridiculous. Sometimes maybe too much at times, but at the same time, like, what are you going to do? I mean, it's the Muppets. It's if you take it too seriously,
you have to have fun with it.
Yeah.
The film currently holds a 76 approval rating based on 21 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, with an average of 6.47 out of 10. The site's consensus says The Great Muppet Caper is overplotted and uneven, but the appealing presence of Kermit, Miss Piggy, and the gang ensure that this heist flick is always breezily watchable. Yeah, you don't watch this for the story; you watch it for the comedy fun.
Yeah, it's like with really any Muppet movie. Some are better than others, but the thing is, it's like you really can't watch it expecting Shakespeare. You just can't.
Right?
Do it.
Yeah. This is actually the 5th highest grossing Muppet film behind The Muppets, The Muppet Movie, Muppets Most Wanted, and Muppet Treasure Island. But I got so many great memories of watching this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good show.
Especially over at my grandma Ellen's house, because Saturdays we would frequently go up there. They live in Excelsior Springs. Great Muppet Caper was on frequently on Saturdays on HBO, and then the Muppet Show we'd watch Saturday evenings on syndication. That's how I got to watch the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
So just intake of Muppets. That's also where I first watched Dark Crystal, was over there when it was on HBO. And it's technically, it's not Muppets, but it's
in the 80s and Saturday mornings, Muppet Babies.
Oh yeah. So I have a deep love for the Muppets, and I'm even though some of the stuff they do in the Muppets lately, it's not hitting its mark anymore. I'm still excited for the Muppets Haunted Mansion thing coming out this year.
Good. I still like it, but it's not. Of course, I'm older too, and so it's
missing some of the charm of the original cast.
The older I get, I'm not quite into some of the stuff I was, but I still like the sentimentality there.
Yeah, there's a nostalgia, there's a sentimentality. And the Great Muppet Caper just hits all the right buttons for me. And it's on Disney Plus if you have it. It's definitely, if you've never seen it or your kids haven't seen it, sit and watch it together and just have a laugh. It is so much fun, and it's got great little songs in there.
Yep.
I don't know if these songs were written by Paul Williams or not. Let me look that up. I wonder if it's in here.
Might be. I know he did the
first one.
I didn't see
his name. Yeah,
he did in the Christmas one.
I mean, let's face it, Paul Williams' music is the Muppets.
Oh, he's brilliant.
I mean, the songs he wrote were just perfect for that.
I'll tell you what, when I think of Paul Williams, I think of a couple things. I think of him as the Penguin.
Yes, in the Batman animated series.
I think of him, these songs that he did. And he was on the first movie of the Muppets along with.
Yeah, he was playing the piano.
And at the same time, he was also on Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was great on there. He was so funny in that movie.
Oh, okay, there we go. And it said, this is, I guess, another review. Somebody let the air out of the jokes and the originality out of the melodies, which this time are by Joe Raposo. Now, I think the songs are great.
Me too.
Now they're saying lack of originality because it's very much like a traditional musical with the musical numbers. They're very much old school musical. It might not be original, but they're great songs. They're fun, and it's not Paul Williams, but it's Joe Raposo. I think did a great job.
I remember one of the scenes that I don't remember if it got an award or not. I know that in the first one they were up for one, but they were for the bike scene. And this one there was a whole bunch of bikes. This one they were running because in the first one people went nuts because of the bike scene where it's Miss Piggy
you have one of them on a bicycle.
Miss Piggy and Kermit. This one. It was Kermit was in the first one, and they were up for an award. And this one, it was Kermit and Miss Piggy together, and then everybody
on a bicycle.
And that was huge. There was so many of them on bikes, and that took a lot of work. You don't know computer
that's
stuff.
An amazing amount of puppetry they did.
Yeah,
oh my goodness, the things they came up with.
They had to be themselves. They had to be on these lines where they were basically rolling on these lines and doing this puppetry. It was a lot of work.
And able to do those distance shots with like remote control puppetry stuff.
Yeah.
And you can tell the difference when there's not an actual hand in there. You can see a little different in the movement, but it's so fantastic.
Yeah,
that's a great little song. Why couldn't we ride?
Yeah, they did a good job.
Oh, that's a wonderful. I love this movie. I watched it already. I feel like I need to go watch it again.
Yeah, now I'm starting to want to.
It is a great movie. The original 3 Muppet films are fantastic. Between the Muppet Movie, The Great Muppet Caper, and Muppets Take Manhattan, they're just fantastic. Now, some of the other ones, they're still pretty good. I still, I have a soft spot still for Muppets from Space. Yep. I still like it. It's not a great film, but I still like it. And I do still really enjoy the Muppet Christmas Carol and Muppet Treasure Island. Those are still great films, but there's just something about these first 3 that are just so charming and have such a nostalgia for me that they're still my favorite of the Muppet films.
The first 3 were all with the Jim Henson touch.
Right.
And then the fourth one was the Christmas one, and that one was the one where his son was involved. And
Jim Henson had passed away.
And it was still Disney.
Yeah, Disney. That's when Disney had been distributing.
Yeah, that one was Disney, the first Disney touch.
Yeah.
As was the Treasure
Island, which I love. The Treasure Island one with Tim Curry, and I love that song, Cabin Fever. Oh,
yeah, that one was good too. But after that, they went away for a little while from Disney, and they were okay. They just weren't to me as good, but still. Yeah, Hulk Hogan was in that one. The
Muppets from Space. Hey, what you gonna do? I'm the bad guy.
I'm a bad guy now. Yeah.
Yes. Muppet films have just been a great part of my life, and Great Muppet Caper is definitely a big part of my nostalgia. But that's going to wrap it up for us. We, of course, got a couple of good movies to recommend for you. We hope also, whenever I get this released, it's going to be around a 4th of July holiday. We hope you either have had or have a wonderful 4th of July Independence Day holiday. If you're here in the States, and if you're outside of the States, well, you know what? Shoot off some fireworks just for the heck of it, because it's fun. But, of course, we do want to remind everybody to go and visit My Podcast Reviews. You know what? I haven't looked at a review here. My Podcast Reviews, it's not very expensive at all. It's been a great way for me. If you're happening to be a podcaster, you can collect your reviews from all over, anywhere that people leave a review. And I've actually been able to post these to the front page of my website. Let me just look at the thing. Awesome show. It says Neverland to Disney and Beyond reviews. Oh, wait a minute. I got to click a thing in here. Love the nostalgia. Of course, they misspelled awesome on there. Awesome show. Love the nostalgia. But I get all my reviews from My Podcast Reviews. We want to thank them for being an affiliate thing. In fact, if you go to neverlandpodcast.com, click on, I got a little banner here from My Podcast Reviews right above all of the reviews. You can go and get it yourself, and I get a little bit of a kickback, which does help pay for the show. Remember, of course, we do have a Patreon page, patreon.com/Neverland Podcast. If you can become a patron, that would be wonderful. It helps support the show. I need all the help I can get to keep paying the bills around here. And also, there is a link to click. You can leave a review. Please do that on My Podcast Reviews. The link is right there at neverlandpodcast.com, right in the middle of the front page. Also, big special thank yous to Karen Kennedy, Ricky Pope of Christian Nerds Unite, and Darren Wilhite of the Wilhite and Wall Show for the voices you hear at the beginning of the show. Remember to keep a pixie in your pocket, and also get lost in an adventure. And we'll see you next time.